The 5 principal points to implementing a skin care management system are as follows. Conduct an assessment of current work practices. Introduce new processes, working practices, or PPE as required. Introduce a 3-step skin care program. Staff training and communication to encourage compliance. Ongoing monitoring and review. So, to take these in order, we start with point 1, carrying out a risk assessment. In order to be sure that problems with dermatitis are kept to a minimum, employers should incorporate appropriate hazard identification and control measures within their current risk assessment procedures. To do this, some elementary observations need to be made. Are there any skin conditions or any history of such currently in existence? A simple survey among your existing employees will determine this. If there are problems, then you need to determine whether they are caused by work. Possible clues to a work-related cause could be that the complaint follows exposure at work to a substance which improves when the employee is away from work and then recurs when again exposed to the substance back in the workplace. The dermatitis appears in areas of the skin which have been exposed to a substance at work. Other people who are exposed to the same substance have similar symptoms. Carefully noting the physical locations where the symptoms appear will also determine the areas of concern and identify the most common complaints. The next step is to carry out the following checks in the workplace. These should be done whether or not any existing problems are in evidence. Examine all the substances that are used in your workplace. Check the manufacturer's safety data sheets. In particular, look to see if the label or safety data sheet identifies the substance as may cause skin sensitization or irritating to skin. Remember, some substances that cause dermatitis may not be labeled as such. Cleaning materials, for example, may not be classified as irritant or be required to carry warnings about sensitization, but if used over a long period of time, can still cause dermatitis. Point 2 is to amend working practices and procedures. If a substance is being used that can cause dermatitis, check to see whether a safer alternative can be substituted instead. If this can't be done, assess whether the job itself can be carried out in a safer way. Can the substance be prevented from coming into contact with the skin by engineering out the physical contact? Examples of this would be automating the operation, or using mechanical handling devices, or introducing dust or fume extraction systems if the substance is airborne. Personal protective equipment covers a whole range of products that are designed to protect an individual in the workplace. The skin covers the whole body, and as such can be vulnerable in many areas. Appropriate clothing, footwear, eye and head protection all fall under this category, and all need to be considered. However, most people work with their hands, and consequently, these are usually the first part of the skin that is affected. Where appropriate, gloves should be worn to protect the skin. Choosing the right glove is essential, as a poor quality or inappropriate glove could be more damaging than none at all. Advice from a reputable glove manufacturer should be gained. Also, be aware that the skin can be contaminated from the outside of the glove if care is not taken when removing them. There are techniques recommended by glove manufacturers for removing the glove in such a way that the skin does not touch the outside surface of the glove during removal. The prevention of dermatitis is far easier and less costly than its cure. However, it is not always possible to prevent skin contact with hazardous substances. Therefore, it is important that employers establish, promote and encourage skin care as part of an overall approach to health and safety. Point 3 is to introduce the 3-step skin care program. It is not always possible to protect the skin against various workplace contaminants, or the use of gloves is not always appropriate due to loss of dexterity or the risk of entanglement in machinery. Therefore, cleaning and taking care of the hands is an important part of developing a proactive, holistic stance against work-related skin disorders. The importance of cleaning the hands immediately before and after wearing gloves is often overlooked. Products should always be sourced from a reputable company who offer advice and guidance on the use of their products. Good quality dispensers should also be used, as these offer many hygiene benefits and can be permanently sited where they are needed the most. It is important that products are not only effective and supported with test data where appropriate, but that they are also pleasant to use, as this encourages compliance, a critical element to help prevent occupational dermatitis. Depending on the situation, it will also be wise to protect the hands by the application of a pre-work cream to help provide protection against potential irritants. However, a cream cannot act as an invisible glove, and every effort should have been made to ensure minimum exposure to any potential irritants. Unfortunately, it is not a black and white situation, but there will be certain instances where only a glove will provide the right sort of protection. Companies may also consider the use of a specifically formulated under-glove cream to provide additional complementary protection and reduce the risk of skin problems that can occur due to the prolonged use of gloves. Also, it cannot be guaranteed that gloves will totally protect against potential irritants, so the complementary use of a pre-work cream provides additional protection. Another major benefit of using a pre-work cream is that it makes the skin easier to clean. This allows for the mildest possible cleansers to be used. Pre-work creams should be applied to clean, dry skin at the beginning of every work period. This process should be repeated at least every 2 hours or after washing hands. Whatever the situation, even before and after glove use, hands should always be cleaned with specially formulated skin cleansers, appropriate for the type and level of soiling. These should be carefully blended compounds which allow the safe and effective removal of dirt and irritants without upsetting the structure of the skin or its functions. Cleansers with aggressive scrubbing agents should never be used, as these will damage the outer surface of the skin and could themselves lead to skin problems. Often overlooked is the need to clean hands after wearing protective gloves. Irritants can get onto the skin, even under gloves, plus the process of removing them can lead to the skin becoming further contaminated. Hands should be cleaned at least at the end of each work period, or when visiting the toilet. After washing, it is essential that hands are dried thoroughly. Disposable paper towels are a quick, effective, and hygienic way of doing this. As a minimum, a conditioning cream should be applied at the end of each working day or work period. Regular use can help maintain the skin in a healthy condition. These creams help to replenish any lost natural oils, keep the skin soft and supple, and avoid dryness. Indeed, dermatologists recognize the importance of doing so. Dr. John S.C. English, in his Handbook of Occupational Dermatology, says, "The regular use of an after-work emollient is probably the best way of reducing the chance of dermatitis occurring, if contact with irritants cannot be avoided." In addition, some people's skin is more prone to being sore, chapped and dry, plus certain work environments increase the risk of these conditions. In these situations, superhydrating skin conditioning creams may be required. Point 4 is training and communication. Developing a skincare management system is so much more than simply putting the right products in the right places. Put simply, the system only works when it has the buy-in from the whole workforce. Management and health and safety officers have the responsibility to ensure that all staff are sufficiently informed and trained. The adoption of a three-step approach, such as described here, will provide a sound basis for successful and effective compliance. The workforce needs to be aware of the dangers of ignoring skin safety. Visibility of the system needs to be high. It must be simple and attractive for the workforce to engage in the skin care management system. This is where choosing the right products with the right backup service is vital. Training sessions, video programs, and safety signs and posters are an effective way of getting the workforce to buy into and support the concept of a skin care management system. And finally, point 5, to monitor and review. Once a skin care management system has been introduced, it is also the duty of the employer to regularly review and monitor the effectiveness of the system. This could take the form of regular recorded one-to-one reviews with staff, if necessary, to evaluate their skin condition and compliance with the system. Records should be kept, and reviews should take into account changes in work practices and any changes in an individual's circumstance. As with many other aspects of health and safety, it is sometimes difficult to know where to turn. Implementing a skin care management system is a diligent approach to legislative compliance, but more importantly, a way that the process can be managed, reviewed, and easily adapted to the ever-changing needs of business. It is important to remember that whatever approach is taken in any one work situation, this may not be right for another. Adopting the right skin care management system is as individual as the hands themselves. However, with modern thinking, current legislation, specialized skin safety products, and the wealth of advice and guidance available, the risk of occupational dermatitis and the millions of pounds it costs industry every year can be greatly reduced.